Hey everyone, welcome to episode 23 of PixlFeed Radio, and I'm with my friend Greg Cooke here. Greg, what's going on, man? He's a Shopify expert. What's going on, Greg?
Thank you.
How are you?
How are you? Yeah, good, thank you. You a bit busy as always, but
Yeah. Busy is good though. So for those of you that don't know who Greg is, actually the way Greg and I met, I guess he's still a client of mine. And it was for a store he was launching. And the store was doing really well from day one. And then he got busy with his other brand that blew up out of control. So he's like, I can't do both. Do you want to take it over? I was like, yeah, dude, I'll totally buy it off you. So now I blew up that store. And now we have a relationship. We talk all the time. All my new clients that need a Shopify store, boom, straight to Greg. I've never, and I'm 100% honest, I'm not doing this because you're doing this with me. The way that I used to do it, unless I built the Shopify store myself, I had developers that I would tell them, hey, this is what I need. And I had to give them super detailed instructions of what I needed to do and what converts, what doesn't convert. And so the project will turn into months just to get the store up the right way. And with you, as soon as I started working with you, you're one of the very few clients that it was a brand new brand. It's still a brand new brand. It's not Nike. It's not, anything like that. Where they're already set up perfectly, where we know our conversions and stuff like that. And you were pretty much one of the top three clients that I said, oh, we don't have to do anything. This is ready to go. And sure enough, boom, 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 we started, right? So
the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when the expertise comes in and being in the business as long as I have. And that's why you can do that. So we're going to talk about everything Shopify. You're going to give away all the secrets that what converts, what doesn't convert, what you recommend, what you don't. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking of launching a Shopify store, already have one, I can assure you, you're going to learn something new in this podcast. But before we go into that, I like to hear everyone's story of how you got into entrepreneurship, what brought you here. So how did it all start, man? When you were a kid, were you just selling everything, that you could get your hands on? Because that's how I started.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm the youngest of 6 children. All my family are either doctors, nurses, teachers, charity workers. They're all that sort of public sector. And they do an amazing job. I was never really that way. I was always a bit of a naughty kid in school, or I struggled quite heavily with dyslexia, dyspraxia, all that sort of stuff. I really struggled in school. That sort of thing. You're never going to be anything. A lot of people who have success in entrepreneurship end up saying that because it's true. It's what drives you. And I vaguely remember, when I think back at it, when I was 8 years old doing some car wash outside my mum and dad's house, and the road got a bit full at some point. And go around to neighbours, knocking on the door, saying, "Oh, can I earn £5?" So in the UK we call it quid, $5 or whatever in just to wash your cars. And then it wasn't until it was my now fiance's dad, and he owns a quite large multi-million property business. And at the time I was a bit stuck, got a bit frustrated, and he said, "Do you know you can buy and sell things on eBay from China?" I was like, "What? Great, okay." And he gave me about $100 in US for Christmas. I was like, wow.
What year was this?
Go and start your business. This was, must have been 2013, maybe 2012.
How old were you?
14, 15.
Oh man, you guys are so lucky. Every time I talk to all you young guys, I'm like, oh, you guys have it so easy. You have access to all this stuff from when the time you were a kid. All right, go ahead. So he told you that, and the light bulb went up.
Yeah, and I went on Alibaba.com, which now I pretty much live on all the time. Yeah. And I bought 100 Samsung memory cards, or thought of Samsung memory cards, from there. And within 3 weeks was the top seller on eBay for memory cards. I've had this pile on my desk of 40 packages daily. My mum was like, "What is he doing? Is he committing fraud? Is he doing all this stuff?" And she was actually chatting to me about it the other day. And I ended up making about £1,500, about $2,000 a week as a 15-year-old on eBay in the space of about a month. And that lasted about eight weeks. And I was like, whoa, what do I do with all this money? And even back then, I was very investing focused, and I put most of it back into a new supplier. I got turnover, and I got completely bowled over. I got scammed. Half arrived, half were broken. I was like, oh no, I've just lost all this money. But it was actually a good thing. I mean, you learn so much. I think that was probably my biggest breakthrough I remember being in school sitting in this maths lesson. He was talking about these numbers. I was just switched off. and I was just jotting down on my phone like eBay. I was like, I've just made more money than my maths teacher in the space of an hour than he makes in a month. I was like, this is crazy.
Right.
And from that point, I was hooked. But regarding with Shopify, I was about 16 or 17, and I had this idea for again, been doing a lot of stuff on eBay. That didn't work in the end. And I saw this dog collar and lead set was selling like huge on eBay, and I extracted their design and put my own premium brand on it, which is what I teach now with clients, how to position things as like a premium brand and charge a premium price. And essentially had the idea and the design in my mind, ended up finding a manufacturer, ordering 3,000 units of stock into the UK, into a warehouse, a fulfillment centre, and then ended up getting pictures from some major brands such as John Lewis for UK, Petco, all sorts of stuff. And that was my first real like Shopify business. It was built on Shopify, doing a lot of B2B wholesale and everything, and got an investment for about 10,000 with that. And I thought this is going to be the big thing, and it worked. But then unfortunately, I was too inexperienced and I made too many mistakes, which our first business, I'm sure, is the same. We always do.
Oh, yeah, I got a whole list of mistakes, man. I mean, you learn from it. You know what I mean?
Mistakes, they're learning lessons. They're the best things that, to me, they're the best things that has happened, because it makes you learning 10 times quicker rather than just watching video after video. If you actually go and do it and put your own cold hard cash into it, you're never going to learn quicker.
I think one of the biggest problems that we have right now, and I actually talked about this on another episode. I can't remember who it was with, but I think one of the biggest problems that we have right now with social media and all the access that we have to all these videos like YouTube and, like people like Gary Vee and stuff like that, which, when Gary Vee came out, I was all about it. I got all his books and I read them. I learned so much from him. But there's a problem with what I call hustle porn. But it's like that motivation crap all day long. And I say kids because I'm going to be 40 this year. So even, let's say people who are like 25, even 30, they start watching all these videos. And what they do is they just keep watching all these hustle porn videos about, it's like, you're going to make all this money. Just follow what I say, blah, blah, blah. Or, and they show the big houses and the cars. And as someone who lives in South Florida, everybody rents all those houses and all those cars, man. I can get a Lambo for $500 a night in Miami. Like, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? It's and people don't know that. So they get sucked in by the glitz and the glamour of it. And people just love that stuff. And they get hooked. And that's all they do. But they don't take any action.
Completely agree.
Right?
It's like two things. Information overload. Mm-hmm. But then also, because what most people do, they then start, okay, do you know what? I'm going to start my own agency. I'm going to start all my own sorts of stuff, which they've never done before, haven't done it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And then they just flood the marketplace. And so, for example, with us now, we've just launched, well, not just launched, we've recently launched a brand new offering program, which I know we were chatting about before. And when now I'm doing my teaching, putting my, our offer out there to people, it's in a way, it's so hard to cut through because so many people are overloaded already, so much noise that the people who have actually, spent years and years mastering that one skill. What I've done is Shopify. Like, I spent 9 years doing it. That's what I started from day one. And I've done it and I've made all those mistakes. I put my money into it. And now when I'm going out to the marketplace and, we're doing this offer to actually help people because we've done it ourselves. We're not just doing it, just for the sake of, for the try and make money. That's not the goal.
It's myself.
to help people. And
I didn't
same with you.
I didn't do Facebook ads for anyone else the first 5 years. I mean, first of all, the first couple of years, yes, I was good, but it wasn't obviously where I'm at now. But I didn't have the confidence to be like, okay, I'm responsible for these people's money. You know what I mean? I know there's people out there that don't give a shit, but I treat people's money like it's my own because I know what it's like to lose a lot of money, making mistakes. So I'm just that type of person that I carry that stress with me. I treat other people's campaigns like my own. So when I see a dip or the CPA is not there, it drives me absolutely insane. So when I see all these people dropping all these courses, which I have nothing against courses as long as they're legit and they're explaining everything like it's supposed to be, but I'm against them pushing, hey, go sell agency services and just hire somebody white label. Okay, great. You're good at sales, but make sure that whoever's doing the white label knows what they're doing, because if they're not, everybody's just getting screwed in the equation. That's what I have a problem with. And if you're going to offer this, you should know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've read a book years ago, and I've just Reddit called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And it was at a stage when I was a bit everywhere. I was doing everything like a lot of people. And when I read that years ago, I then just realized, all I'm going to do is Shopify. What I'm going to focus on is Shopify. And so you said that you master the skills with your own money first, your own time. I think he talks about, you probably heard about the 10,000 hour rule and that sort of stuff, and just like you with Facebook, as me with Shopify, I spent years just mastering it. And you get good at it and you learn something. It's like anything, like to become a professional NBA basketball player. What have they done? They spent years and years and years mastering that one thing. To become a soccer player, whatever, years and years mastering that one thing. And we're in this world now where people think, and they can do in a way, just pick up something they've never done before and boom, success. And they may see success, but where's that really going to get you in 2, 3, 4 years' time? Where are you going to be? It's why people keep dropping off. You hear about one person one day and then you never hear about them again. And it's hard work and working smart will never, ever, ever be outdone by anything else. That's what I believe. Always, right. By mastering one thing, always be in business, be fulfilled, and help people. That's the goal. Help people. Whether it's Shopify, ads, whatever it is, it's helping people. And people are getting so confused with the money in that. When you help more people, you make more money. When you master more, when you master a skill, you make more money. But people are so focused on the money, not the skills. Acquiring the skills is what brings the money in.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you bring that up. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you do with all the streaming and stuff like that. There was a documentary that was just out. It was called The Last Dance. And it was about Michael Jordan. And I'm not even a sports guy. Like, I'll watch sports with the boys if I'm out at a bar just for fun. But I'm not the type of guy who keeps up with sports or watches sports all day long. Like, I don't care. But, it's Michael Jordan. And I admire people who make it to that level because there's something. Those people that make it to that level, there's a reason for that. So I watched the whole thing and I was just hypnotized. And what it shows you is it's the real side of Michael Jordan. The first time he actually opens up to the whole world, and it's documented. I think it was like 7 episodes or something like that. And if you haven't watched it, anybody who's listening to this, I don't care if you don't like basketball, trust me, watch it. Because from day one, the day he was a kid, his focus was basketball. And that was it. There was nothing else. It was just dead focus on basketball 24/7. He would sit there and shoot hoops 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day. While college, everybody's partying. What is he doing? Shooting hoops 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day. Even when he made it in the NBA, what is he doing? All day shooting hoops. I mean, it was amazing. And then when he got you on his sites, he had this thing called the kill list that if you said something to him, made a comment, or like, there was one game and you got ahead of him somehow, he just put you on his kill list. And then the next game, he will score literally like 54 points on you. Like, it's insane, man. You need to watch it if you haven't seen it. You'll love it. So I'm telling you, it's about, and I suffer from shiny object syndrome. I mean, I think we all do as entrepreneurs and especially myself, because I feel like I have a superpower. I can literally grab everything online and run traffic to it and make money with it. So it's like, I have people who bring me opportunities, the stuff that I see, and the person in me wants to build new stuff. But you're right. You need to focus on one thing. And at one point I was like, I'm going to do Google. I'm going to do Pinterest. I'm going to do Snapchat. And when I started doing that, the Facebook side of things started hurting because now I'm not paying, 24/7 attention to Facebook. So what I did is I brought a team of people that I know to do all the other stuff that I can trust, and they're the experts on that. And I just focus on Facebook, and the results are for themselves, just like you're doing with Shopify. So when you started focusing on Shopify, what was the process that you took to better yourself and to keep learning and to take it to the next level?
In terms of if you broke down my process, it was, you mentioned Michael Jordan. Then you said 8 hours a day, 16 hours a day shooting hoops. I was staying up till 3 a.m. at night building Shopify stores. Most of my stores didn't work at first. Most of them never made a dime. But what I did was I was building store after store after store. I was learning more and more, and I would go out and I would put it to the marketplace. And in that point, my mindset wasn't right. I had too short-term goal. I was being hypnotized by those Gary V videos. Them sorts of, he's brilliant, by the way, but those sorts of stuff. And I then never stuck any of them out. But what I didn't realize what I was doing, I thought I was such a failure at the time. I felt like such a failure. But what I was actually doing was building a huge skill set of building Shopify stores, and was seeing what was working, what wasn't, and I was just doing it all the time. And then now with my agency the last 12 months. I mean, I call it an agency. I don't actually like calling that because now it's me. You know, I've got a team of like 32 staff members now, but
that's an agency, man. You actually have an agency. You have a team of 32 people.
Yeah, it's just sometimes, you know the terminology when people say agency, there's because I do a lot of coaching and stuff with alongside them. We do it for them. I do a lot of one-to-one coaching to actually make sure they succeed. And my sort of process was I just did store after store after store, learn a little bit about the apps, you know, about the themes. You can get this theme, you can get that theme. This does that. Okay, that didn't work very well, but what does? And over time, you build a bucket load of knowledge. And then someone said, you know, can you do a store for me? I was like, yeah, sure. I just did it for him. And then another, and then another. And now we built last 12 months. We've got an agency at over $500,000 a year, and how many paid traffic? Yeah, a real agency. And now that's pure off word of mouth because our skill set is good enough. And now, I've said the last few months, we've launched now a proper coaching done for you program where we're getting the money that we deserve, but all the skills we're developing even more because the people we're networking with and leveraging. And so in terms of the process, if anyone's watching this and they're like, I don't know what to do next. Okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing affiliate marketing, dropshipping, all that sort of stuff, going from thing to thing to thing. All I would tell you is two things. One, read a book called The One Thing. It changed the way I looked at things. And secondly, pick one thing, solve one person's problem and solve their solution. You only need to speak to one person, solve one problem and solve one solution. Forget everything else. Forget it. Just one problem, one solution. That's all you have to do to be fulfilled in your work or business, make money if that's, you know, one of your biggest goals, and actually help someone. Don't do everything and everyone. Be real, be raw, be honest. People see through, you know, you get targeted ads, I'm sure, all the time. People send you the next best thing. And, you know, I've actually deleted all, this is maybe something we'll come on to. I've deleted all my personal social media pages. I've only got my business ones now, which we use for direct outreach and, you know, to have a Facebook manager, that sort of stuff. But I've deleted all my personal social media accounts. I don't use, no one knows I exist in terms of my friends and that sort of stuff, you know. I'm just,
that's probably a good thing. Social media is very distracting.
It is, but then we're the biggest hypocrites because we then use it, you know, to
I'm in Facebook all day, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's but we use it for the right reasons. But yeah, and when I did that, my focus, it's still like Michael Jordan again. I'm sat there shooting hoops 8-12 hours. When I deleted all my personal social media, my focus was even more. I mean, most people spend 2 hours a day on it. I actually spent 2 hours a day just learning one skill. Like, how would your life change? It's like it's not rocket science.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Listen, I live, breathe, and talk social media and Facebook ads all day long. It's not just Facebook ads. Facebook ads I've been doing for a long, long time. But luckily I grew up with sales and marketing before digital. So I already have that background in me. That helps a lot. But I don't only just focus on Facebook ads. I'm reading constantly, like every week. I'm reading, you know, I'm reading one book and I'm listening to multiple books when I'm working out, when I'm in the car or whatever. And it's not just Facebook ads. It's all about business, like, or digital marketing, sales. Like, that's how I keep learning. The biggest problem that people have is, you know, I went to college and I dropped out, you know, junior year. I should have just finished because, you know, it would have been nice to have the degree, but which is useless, by the way, if you ask me. But, you know, I know a lot of people who went to school and they're doing horribly now because they got a degree and they can't do anything with it. And they stopped learning. They never picked up a book again. You know, it's like the information is out there. You know, it's not that hard to get. It really isn't. You know, I just, like right now, you were talking about the one thing. I just added to my Amazon list. I haven't read that one. So it's on there. It's going to come at some point, you know?
It's brilliant. It's so good. It's and also just to touch on what you said about the digital marketing sales and where you started. I also started. I mean, I've done cold call sales in a company. I've actually done face-to-face sales and that stuff. But people forget. People like to hide behind an advert or a laptop, that sort of stuff. But people forget. People buy from people. That will never, ever, ever change. Facebook ads and all those digital marketing, it's just a platform to get someone in. But at the end of the day, people will buy from people that they trust, like, and that's not going to change no matter how good your Facebook ad, YouTube ad, whatever it is. If you can't relate to someone that actually help them, that you will never. It's never going to work. People always buy from people.
Perfect example. Since I got this new store from you, there's one guy. I'm not going to mention the niche or what it is or whatever, but there was one guy that you had an issue with when you had it. So of course he kept complaining when I took over. And my motto is take care of your customers. Whatever you need to do, just make it happen. I learned that one from experience, and then I watched a lot of interviews with Jeff Bezos and the way he talks about it, and that really ingrained in my head. So this guy kept complaining because of whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call this guy. I called him up. It's like, hey, what's up? Hey, this is Christian from so and so. I just want to give you a call. I'm the owner of so and so. Listen, I understand this is not the perfect situation. This is what's going on. I wanted to take over and personally reach out to you. Blah 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 blah. This is what's happening. All right. And he was amazed that I called him. And now, by the end of the call, we were friends. He has my personal email, and he's sending me feedback on products of what he would change to improve them. So he's like my biggest fan now. It's great. It's crazy, man. Right. I'll show it to you. Yeah. He's like, listen, I love it. What were you saying?
Brilliant. Because I've actually we've just done a new training thing today, and sort of one of our methodology in the third step when we scale, and people think scaling is just ads, but it's also customer service. Like 24/7, 365, amazing customer service. And on 9 out of 10 occasions, you can turn a negative conversation with a potential customer or someone into a positive revenue generating conversation. I bet any money he comes in and orders again. Again, people, because they've got that short-term focus, are so focused on the money. Oh, I don't want a refund. I don't want that sort of stuff. In fact, they don't realize if you be a real person, you speak to them, it's not that bad. It's a positive. So that's a brilliant example of that.
Yeah, people are afraid of picking up the phone. I got a pile of returns sitting in my office right now because I'm sending prepaid labels to these people. And yes, of course, it's costing me money, but I don't care because I'm making the experience as good as I can. So because I'm already thinking about how I'm going to improve everything and private label everything. And I wanted to have that experience like, hey, right now, I know I can get it probably for cheaper here, but you know what, man, they really took care of me no matter what. I got it in no time. You know what? I'll pay the extra money so I don't have a headache. And I do it. You know what I mean? With other things. So that's my example. We're not going to go into what I'm doing right now. Let's talk about you. So let's get into the good stuff that everybody wants to hear about Shopify and all that good stuff. So when somebody comes to your agency or they want to do consulting with you, say, hey, Greg, listen, man, I need you to build me a store, or I need you to help me out. What's the process like? Walk me through what that process is like.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, in terms of what type of person it is, so someone may relate, we've helped a variety of people. Any Shopify store owner that's struggling to make sales or grow their brand, that's our one customer in one sentence. Okay, that's our pure and utter focus. So that could be physical product. They've actually got stock in a warehouse, so they've got stock in where they are and they can't shift it. They can't grow the brands. Could be drop shipping. It could be print on demand. It doesn't matter. Okay, whatever Shopify. If they're on Shopify and they're struggling, they're the sort of customers that we attract. So we've got a 3-step process, a 3-step system. And the first doesn't even start with store design. What people get so wrong with Shopify, and so only 14% of retail sales happened online last year, and it's growing year on year on year. We are still at the baby stages, but more and more people now are getting more options on what to buy. And customers are only going to stick with the brands that they like, the brands that speak to them and are on their level and connected with them. And what most people do is they create a Shopify store. They don't create a brand. And so the very first thing we do is develop with them, okay, who is your perfect customer avatar? And when people say this, yeah, I've heard of the customer avatar before, but we go super, super deep. I mean, we get all their pain points out, we get all their desires out, all their needs out, all their wants out, and go super, super deep into actually who is that one person, as I touched on before, that same philosophy flows through, who is that one person that they are speaking to and they are want. Once we've got that, we then actually go into the brand. Okay, who are you? Who do you serve? What do you stand for? What's your story? And this is the bits which people don't do. They go straight to the design put a load of products on there for the drop shipping. If they've got stock, they just, bring in stock and put it on the store. They don't spend the time to actually in-depth research of who do you want to serve and who are you as a brand. Only when we've got those two things, which takes a few days, maybe even a week, only once we've got those few things do we then actually start putting it on the store. And what we then do, we then put it onto a proven to convert template. Again, a mistake people make is, I've had a lady last week, I couldn't believe it, but seeing it, she spent $18,000, okay, with some fancy agency who did a completely custom design, like from scratch, like completely scratched. Okay, they coded everything. She's like, yeah, it's great. I was like, great. Why are you on the phone to me? And she said, I haven't made any sales. I was like, really? Okay, so that design you got done, did you know it was going to work? Have you tried that before? Did they tell you? They said, no, I just had in my head what I wanted. And what we do, the reason we can create brands in less than 10 days and get them launched, because we take proven to convert templates, and the thing which makes people convert the most is your graphics, your using videos, copy, actually speaking to that person on the store, through the copy and the graphics, actually, pulling out all their desires, their dreams, the stuff they want. Even if it's just like a t-shirt like this, for example, you can call it a men's 100% white cotton t-shirt, or you can call it some fancy name like Dominican, some premium name, and sell the vision, sell the vision of the brand. But you only know that when you know your customer, what they want, what they desire, and what you stand for a brand. So all that work we do we then put onto the Shopify design on a proven to convert template. Stage 2 is then we launch. So we launch with paid marketing campaigns, which I know obviously all about, partnering up with us with that. So we tend to do Facebook ads, but it completely depends on the business. Sometimes Google ads may be better. Sometimes YouTube ads. It's individual. So we look at their individual needs and where they're going to actually launch. And within that, we call it our automated Tasmanian Devil sales machine. People are like, what on earth is that? Have you ever watched the Tasmanian?
One of my favorite
Devil cartoon.
One of my favorite cartoons growing up. Yeah,
he is everywhere. He's so annoying and he's everywhere. And most Shopify stores are too nice, they're too bland. They don't want to, oh, hi. They're like, hi, we're here. If you want to buy, you can buy. But, what we do, we set up what we call our automated Tasmanian Devil sales machine. So this is a series of apps and back-end sales processes. So once that customer comes in, they've read your copy, they've been drawn into the brand because you know who you're speaking to. You've got a period of time where you need to capture their information off them, because most people don't buy first time. So what most stores do, they come on and they go. They come on and they go. But by using that sort of gamified technology, we grab their information off them. And what this does, this might be a push notification or opt-in, SMS, WhatsApp. There's even Snapchat integration at the moment if they've come from there. There's all sorts of integrations which we use with apps. And it grabs either their email address, phone number, name, whatever it may be. And do you know what we do? Technically, somebody say we might annoy the hell out of them. We don't really do that, okay? We market to them. And if you haven't, a marketer told me once, if you haven't annoyed someone by lunchtime, you're not marketing hard enough. It doesn't matter if you're doing Facebook ads, Shopify, whatever. And we've got a series of automated processes that speak to them on their platform over day 1, day 2, day 7, day 14, day 30. That keeps you in the forefront of their mind. So they come back to you, you're in the mind, and they purchase. So you've got retargeting, like obviously with Facebook ads. But a great way to do retargeting is also getting information off them and just hammering them on their platform, which they use, WhatsApp, SMS, whatever it may be. And that drives the customer return rate massively. It drives the customer rate coming back to the store massively and drives your revenue more. Whereas most brands and stores will just lose those potential customers. Okay, money is in the follow-up. You probably heard that before, time and time again, but it's so
LTV,
true.
lifetime
Every
value.
business you do, Shopify. Yeah, it's lifetime value, and people are so Shopify stores they'll be so focused on, oh, it's been a week and I haven't made the money. Okay, but how many customers have you got in your system now? 40. Great. Do you know how much revenue could potentially come from them if you keep doing this automated processes? I mean, we do it mostly automated on that stage. So that's sort of step 2 in stage 2. And then stage 3, we call what we call a red carpet system and 3-point scaling attack. So it breaks into 3 points. So as scaling up the ads is one part. When you say scaling, most people think of just, putting more money into Facebook ads, lots of stuff. That is one part. But also, there's two other parts people miss, and we touched on before. It's scaling your customer experience, your customer journey. Okay, having a 24/7, 365 customer service team who are completely virtual doesn't cost that much per month. Might cost a couple of thousand a month, but at this stage, you're already making money. You're making profit. And what this does, as we touched on before, when a customer buys and they have the most incredible experience because you're on hand, there to answer any question, any issue that you're there, you're turning negatives into positives. They keep coming back time and time again. So there's a way of actually scaling up that side of the business and the store with virtual staff, VAs, whatever you want to call them. I personally never really call mine VAs. I call them team members because that's what I do personally. But it's the same sort of thing. It doesn't really matter. And then the third point is internally. So you've got your customer service experience. You've got your sales driving. Okay, and now internally, what I experience with Shopify owners who may be stuck at, say, 30K a month, that sort of stuff, they're so focused on daily tasks that they don't see the bigger vision. And the reason they're stuck, they've got the ceiling above them and they're in, day out, doing the little tasks, which really someone else should be doing. And so we've got systems which we do this, and we free up all the time. So really simple thing to do, if anyone listening is in this position, get a piece of paper and all week, every time you do a task, write it down. And what we do at the end of 7 days, we say, look, you've done X, Y, Z tasks. This is how we're going to remove them from you. You're going to remove yourself from these little tasks which aren't making you the revenue and aren't driving the brand forward. And essentially, that's when you start building a team, maybe an office, or that sort of stuff, and actually scaling up because you've removed yourself and you can focus on the brand vision, where the brand's going to go and all that sort of stuff. So that, in a nutshell, is our process. When someone comes into us, that is what we do for them. We actually do each stage for them. Each stage is a different package, and that's how we've structured our success rate and stuff.
You have it all covered. And I can tell you, as somebody who has done this before, this is how I learned Facebook ads. I started with like my first website, and then I moved on to Shopify. So I know how tedious it can get. I know how tedious all these tasks. Listen, once you reach the $20,000, $30,000 in sales a month, once you start reaching that point, your customer service is going to get out of control. You know, where's my order? Or I sent you an email because, blah, blah, blah. And then the social media, people are messaging you, the comments, and it gets out of control. Next thing you know, you're spending 4 hours just doing customer service, and that's not productive. This is listen, if you're doing $20,000 to $30,000 in sales, you're already making profit, and you should be making profit, even if it's just a little bit. And you should be delegating that stuff, like you said, to somebody else to free up your time. Before we got on the podcast today, I told Greg, I'm like, listen, man, there's a bunch of new products for the line from the manufacturers. I don't have the time to do it. We need to talk about this. And you're like, yeah, of course, we're going to take care of it. Stuff like that, because you want to step back as much as you can. The dream is for you to step back all the way if you want to,
It is, but when some people do that to the extreme, where they step back and they lose focus on it, you should be stepping back to fulfill your vision and goal and dream. And one of the key things, I guess a lot of people maybe listening to this might be into dropshipping, as it is one of the easiest ways to get started with Shopify. We've got our own sort of stores that also. But when people start dropshipping, a lot of people do it for the money. And yes, it is can be a way to make quick money and stuff. But when you get to that stage, people forget about the customers. They don't actually care about the store they're running. They don't care about the brand they're trying to build. They're trying to build a Shopify store, not trying to build a brand. When you try to build a brand, you care about your customer. You care about the service you do. And that's why brands go on to be bigger and bigger and bigger. If they didn't care about their customers, they wouldn't be there. And the issue I've got with dropshipping, it's not an issue. It's a great model if you use it correctly.
To get started.
What most people do to get started, and what most people do is when they get to that stage, they don't care about the customers. So they get all the complaints, they get annoyed. Oh, this is awful. I'm fed up with this. All these complaints every day, and they don't look at themselves. Why are you getting complaints? I don't care enough about the customer, and that's I'm offering them products which I know are a bit shoddy, like they're cheap. I'm doing it just for the money because I want to have a business, and that's great to a certain point. But I actually, yesterday I turned someone away who was about to pay us $25K on the phone. and it was one of the hardest things I've had to do. I actually turned them away because they want to start a dropshipping store. Okay, our clients tend to be physical product brands who are struggling, or people looking to get started, depends. And I turned them away. She was so she was a nice lady, but she just didn't care. All she was talking about was money, money, money. She didn't care. I was welcoming to ideas, and I knew what was going to happen, so I've seen it before. We would have got to month 2 in our package with that, and when we start scaling up, and she wouldn't have cared. And we would have got headaches time and time again. When you get experience, and that's why we put value in people first over money. I could have easily taken her on yesterday. I know I could, but I wouldn't be doing the best thing for her. She should be doing a different business model that she cares about. She shouldn't be doing that. And there's so many people in this sort of world who unfortunately are doing that time and time again, and that's why they're maybe not getting the results and the big business that they actually want.
I had a call yesterday with a discovery call with a potential client, and he's like, we have an agency right now, and the results have dropped, blah blah blah. And I told him, I'm like, listen, man. Well, first of all, I knew our personalities didn't match right off the bat. I'm like, we're not gonna click, right? And I'm at a point now where I can pick and choose who I work with, and I'd rather work with people like you where I enjoy it. We can have a conversation all day long. And this guy, we were just, I just didn't feel the vibe, and I knew that I could try my hardest, and it would have never been good enough because in his head it wasn't good enough. And I did something that I never usually do. I actually looked at his account because we were on a Zoom call, and I was like, send me the link right now. Let me look at your account while we're here real quick. And as soon as I glanced at it, I'm like, listen, the people that are doing it for you right now, they know what they're doing. If I go in there, I'm gonna make some changes, but it's not gonna be to the point where it's gonna make a drastic change in your cost per lead. I'm like, and the reason why they're experiencing this is because Facebook has been a mess the past 2 weeks with a bunch of updates, So it's up to you, but this is what's going on. So basically, I let him off without saying no in a very nice way. And, I feel bad for the guy who's dealing with him because I was like, nope, I don't want to deal with that, But all right, cool. So I know we're about to run out of time right now. But for those who are starting out their first store and they're not getting to the level where they have the money to hire somebody like you first already. So what kind of recommendations do you have? Like, what are your favorite apps? What do you recommend people focus on when they're starting out and building their first store?
Sure, yeah. So before you even get to the apps and design, the number one thing that counts is that you're offering a product which is good and people want. That's the baseline of it. If you haven't got that, no matter what apps design you have, it's never going to work. So I would my number one advice to people who are starting out is spend the due diligence, spend the time actually thinking about what am I selling? Who am I selling to? Is this good? Is there a market for it? Rather than just going all guns blazing and just putting a load of products whether on a store, which is what most people do. Just by doing that one thing, you are giving yourself the best chance of actually making a success of it. Now, there's one particular method at the moment which I've actually just done a training video on today. I haven't really people don't really talk much about it, but it's a different type of dropshipping called custom dropshipping. So I personally think dropshipping is going sort of more into the personalization and custom way. The whole of e-commerce is what people want. And one of the ways you can take advantage of dropshipping is with bulk custom orders. Now, let me give you an example of this. I did this 2 years ago and ended up working with Mercedes-Benz and KLM Airlines, doing a bunch of custom clothing stuff for them. But a model, let's just say, for example, a business, a marketer like you, say you have a massive agency and you're hosting this massive live event. You need 500 custom t-shirts. Where you going to go? You might go to Google, you might go to Facebook and type in, custom t-shirts for live events or something, and you're going to go to a website, and that website is going to say, look, we can do you can do your custom clothing, or we can put logos on this, we can make this, loads of different niches within this, not just that. That's quite a broad one. And you're essentially, all they're going to do is probably go to a factory or manufacturer and say, okay, we've got Christy in here, he wants his logo on this, can you send him a sample, or can we do it this? And say yes. And then you just keep your cut. You offer a really good service because you're using a really good factory or manufacturer, which you can find on Alibaba, AliExpress, all them sorts of places. Go to Google, there's tons of them. And you can essentially start a business with no money down, okay, apart from building a Shopify website. You should still do the research into the customer avatar, who these people are, go really, really niche. One of the things we do with brands is go so niche, that really sub-niche where you can speak to one person, solve one solution. And that's one of the ways which I've had my own success. I'm actually going to start teaching them to more clients, is moving away from the traditional method, some way of drop shipping, and doing that because you get bulk orders, you get tons of profits because they're ordering loads in one go. It's super easy to set up. And that's one of the ways I'm recommending people now when they're starting, is actually using that sort of, I call it custom dropshipping method, where you can get bulk orders, big profits. And then once you've got those profits, you can invest into physical stock if you like. You invest into a person like me, like you, for advertising, all that sort of stuff, and you can grow. But the key thing you have to start doing is generating revenue, and then which you can use to then do that. So that method for people starting out, just to recap, 2 things: research, avatar, who you are as a brand. Take the time to do it. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Do it. It will serve you so much better in the future. And secondly, if you're looking for a different model, you don't want to go, people waiting maybe a bit long for the delivery, which still works, by the way. It still works great. Even though people slate it up all the time, it still works. Is a custom dropshipping. We're actually launching another one we've got another brand, physical brand launch in the women's running clothing fully next month. We've already sold a ton of units before we've even got the stock ourselves to some retailers, which is another method, another conversation. But using that custom dropshipping method I mentioned then is a great way, which not a lot of people are doing. And there's so many niches in that. In the sports industry, I'm not going to tell you what my one is, but there's so many niches in the sports industry which do custom clothing, bags, which you can just be a middleman and deliver an amazing service with great margins. You're happy, the customer's happy, your manufacturer's happy, everyone's happy.
And guys,
that's a great way. There's no excuse.
When you get started, if you know how to market your store like Greg does here, and you explain the whole process and you make it right up front, people, and it's a product that they want, they'll wait, no problem. Yes, we're spoiled in the US with Amazon and all that stuff, but you'll be amazed how many people order stuff and just don't care and wait for it. Like I do it all the time. I just order stuff and I forget about it until it gets here. Of course, you're going to get the people who's like, where's my stuff the next day? I was like, sorry, dude, we're not Amazon. It's all over the website. I don't know what you expected, but, obviously you treat them like gold.
Being upfront with people.
Yeah. That's just the reality of humanity. You know what I mean? But most people, I would say 90% of them will wait if there's something they really want, especially if you do personalized stuff like you're talking about. You know what I mean? They understand that you're a small business and you're trying to make it. Like they know that. They'd rather buy from the small business that they can help than somebody from Amazon. So right on. Well, Greg, we're out of time, man. Thank you so much. So all the programs, the consultation, I know we're working together as well. Why don't we tell everybody, I know you got rid of all your personal social media, and the links are going to be all over the descriptions, both on the podcast and the YouTube channel. So where can they find you? If somebody they want consulting, or they want to build a store, or they already have a store they want to take to the next level, guys, I'm telling you, my new store, it's amazing. Like there's videos of it all over to my YouTube where I show campaigns. There's a reason why they're performing. It's not just me, it's the store. So where can they find you, Greg?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, I'm hyper focused on one thing. So if you go to www.gregoryfcooke, Cook's got E on the end, by the way, .com/free training. I've got a 20-minute free training where I go into all the stuff much more in depth. And if you want to take the training, go and do it yourself, you can do. If you want to, you can then actually schedule a call with either myself or my team, and we'll go through for 45 minutes and much more in depth what it could look like for you. We've also got a YouTube channel and Facebook page, which are linked on that page also, which we're propagating content much more now. But I would say if you're looking to start and you want to know anything more, you want to actually speak with me on the phone or one of our team, it's gregoryfcooke.com/free training, and that's the way to go. That's that's the only platform we are using at the moment to get people in and to make sure
awesome.
that they are.
And I'll have the link in the description again. So look for that link in the description. Greg, again, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it for you to come on the interview, the YouTube channel, the podcast. And Guys, till the next episode. I'll see you later. Please subscribe, like, everything. It helps with the algorithm.